Welcome to the Honest Hippie Podcast, we're the podcast for health professionals and the wider community. Look to explore diversities in health, ask some hard questions, and have some honest conversations. My name is Archie. I'm an EP based in Sydney's Northern Beaches, and joining me as always is allied health business owner Andrew. Andrew, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. You're about to crack a drink. What are you cracking for us tonight?
I've gone a different route today. I've gone a non-alcoholic beverage.
Okay. All right.
But it is still a beer. So it is a Heaps Normal IPA,
Ooh.
non-alcoholic.
Wow. Have you had this before?
I'm not. I am skeptical.
Okay. And is this is this the start of a non-drinking period for you?
The non-drinking period has started. It started. I was actually thinking about this as I was at the shops today getting my non-alcoholic beer. It's probably been 8 weeks since I've had
Nice.
an alcoholic beverage, roughly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to sleep a bit better,
Great.
feel a bit better.
Nice. Love that.
So, yeah.
Your liver must feel wonderful. Not that I can
I'm
feel
sure
it,
it's
but
thanking
I'm
me.
sure it
Yeah.
would. If I was to pump your liver, it would probably feel great right now.
It's probably pink
Oh,
and fluffy and
oh,
just, loving life.
oh, to be Andrew's liver, hey? All right, we have a short episode for you guys today, and it's going to be part of a little business series that we're going to be doing, where it's some short, punchier information that is going to be hopefully really helpful information for people out there. And this one is very much an Andrew-based episode, and the three things that we're going to cover today is if he was going to open a clinic today, what would he do? And then what are the three things that he would do before he opened his business, this new business, hypothetical one? And then now that this hypothetical business has been opened, now what? How do you start? What do you do? So those are the three things that we're going to start with. And I think we'll go from the start here, Andrew. What would you do if you were to open this hypothetical business?
Exercise physiology.
Great, as you should. What would you call the clinic?
I wouldn't call it my name
No.
because it's very hard. Although people still do that now. It's hard to kind of get out of that when you get to the point where you are growing a team and further down the line from that, where you are trying to like remove yourself from the business to some degree. When you have the business name that is your name, it is difficult to do that. So I would definitely not call it my name. But then something that people would identify with movement-based.
Would you call it a location?
Depends on what the goal is, right? Like if
Okay.
your goal was to have one clinic in a specific suburb, then sure, call it Brookvale Exercise Physiology. But if the goal that you think might be true is that you want to grow, then I would probably keep it location agnostic.
And by grow, you mean grow outside of that suburb, like
Correct.
multiple clinics kind of thing, which, to be honest, is quite a big vision, right? And there are a lot of big, successful clinics that have one location, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's not necessarily a right or wrong
Yeah.
on that, but what it would help with is your SEO presence. So when you have
Yes.
Brookvale Exercise Physiology or Manly Exercise Physiology, that would serve you quite well in terms of rankings with SEO search engines.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's a very interesting point. Would you recommend having the the name of the profession or the service you were providing in the title?
The problem with exercise physiology specifically is that people don't know what that is. So
Hmm.
you're putting lots of syllables in a name that doesn't necessarily give more information to people.
Hmm.
So rebound, for example, like we are rebound now, where we started was rebound integrated health. And then we realized that rebound integrated health, like integrated,
Doesn't mean
doesn't
anything.
mean anything. It's just an extra word. Um, and so then we became rebound health, but then we then just became rebound because it's like health doesn't add that much to it because we became quite synonymous with rebound being exercise. So I
Interesting.
don't think so.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. So there's some information. So your hypothetical clinic, it would be name and location agnostic. Uh, and based on the clinic that you are trying to create, which is one where you'd like it to grow as well, you'd be hesitant to use the exact words exercise physiology in it. But, well, it depends here. Depends how good
Depends.
your SEO is.
Depends.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
And like that might change in the future, right? I'm
Mm,
making that assumption based on
mm,
search volumes today, but that might change.
mm.
Hopefully it changes.
Hopefully. That'd be great. All right. Well, what are the next things you'd do if you were going to open your business?
If I was going to open a business, where I would start is I would try and be profitable from day one. I would try and do a bunch of work before we opened so that we were profitable from day one. We had
Wow.
enough clients coming in that we could cover the overheads of the business, whatever that looked like, whether that is renting a room in a clinic, whether that is renting a room in a gym, whether that is signing a lease and having a commercial tenancy, have enough people in the books from day one to cover those costs.
Wow.
That means you have to understand what those costs are. That means you have to do marketing before you need clients, not after you need clients. And that means you need to work out who you are trying to market to, what their pain points are, and how you put messages in front of them that result in them calling you and asking for help.
Okay. There you go.
So we are trying to be profitable before we open.
Why? And that might feel like a stupid question because obviously being profitable as early as possible is great, but I imagine that's not something that everyone is going into with that plan as being profitable by day one. So why?
Because you can't be unprofitable for too long, because it forces you to look at numbers and understand that being a business owner means understanding and interpreting numbers in a clinic and means that you are focusing on the right thing. Because when you are looking at performance of a clinic, even in its infancy, by how well it is performing in a black and white profit and loss statement, it forces you into action that is going to result in more people seeking you out, not creating things to do that you think are going to build the business long term.
All right. So creating a focus of looking at numbers early is important as a mindset point of view so that you start making decisions based on profit and loss.
Correct. And that can be very rudimentary at the start. We don't need to be complex here. But businesses fundamentally exist to be profitable and to have impact in communities. That's from Jim Collins.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. And you can't do either of those things unless you understand your numbers. Too many people have that realization far too late. They get to the point where they have grown without looking at numbers, and they end up at points where they are seeking help because they don't understand their numbers. It's interesting how businesses that are seven-figure businesses have leaders in them that don't understand what a profit and loss statement should look like, don't know how to look at it, don't know how to make good decisions on what the business needs based on what they're seeing in their financial records. And that's not me laying blame on people. That's just them going through that process and focusing on what we were trained to do as health professionals, which is to help people. But you can help people in a bunch of different ways that don't involve owning a business. You can work in
Right.
public health, you can work in for other people. But if you choose to open a business, you choose, whether you like it or not, you choose to understand how a business performs financially. And it is far easier and far better to have that from day one rather than trying to work it out later.
So, how would you go about identifying what numbers you should be tracking from day one, and how are you going to learn that?
Well, you know the expenses associated with running your business. You know how much it costs to set up. You know if you're going to open a business that you'll need computers and FPOS terminals and practice management softwares. You'll need a place to operate out of. So you will quickly work out what the expenses are for your business. You will do a bit of research and you will work out where you want to position your pricing as a business at. Are you at the top end of the market? Are you at the bottom end of the market? Are you somewhere in the middle? And once you work out that, then you can work out how many people I need to see each week to cover the costs of the business. And very simply, like that is what a profit and loss statement looks like. And you can build complexity over time. But for the start, that is easy.
So, then once you've worked that out and you need to know how many clients you need to see on a weekly basis to break even and be profitable, wouldn't that then require quite a large investment in marketing and generating referrals
Yes,
prior
it
to
would.
this business starting?
Yes, it would. And
Yes, it
that's the
would.
second point, is
Okay.
that in order to be able to break even from week one, there is a bunch of work that you have to do in the weeks leading up to that to have people inquiring about your services and book in advance, which is advertising.
Right. Gotcha. Wow. So you would be advertising and doing this stuff, what, weeks, months in advance?
4 weeks.
4 weeks in advance. Okay. Interesting. All right. What's the third thing then
It
you
is
would
to
do
work out
before?
it is to work out who you are advertising to.
Okay.
Too many allied health people, business owners, try and market to everyone. They create content, they create ads that say, I'm an exercise physiologist and I help people with chronic conditions. And a patient is not going to self-identify as somebody with a chronic condition. So you are marketing to no one. You have to have a niche, you have to have something specific that you can help people with. You need to create content that resonates with those people and helps them understand why seeking your help will improve the quality of their life.
Okay.
You need to have when it comes to advertising, you have to have something specific to talk to. You can't speak generally.
So what does this content then look like? So if it's not, I'm an exercise physiologist, I help people with chronic conditions, what does the scripts, for lack of a better word, actually look like?
If you've recently been diagnosed with osteoporosis and you know that exercise is important, but you don't know what to do, that's where we can help.
Interesting. So still going off a, if you have a diagnosis of this or you've recently been diagnosed with this, and then you're assuming some things is like, and you know that exercise is important, or you know that getting it looked after or whatever is important, but you don't know what to do, we can help.
Mhm.
Interesting. And then is it just like a click here?
Correct. It's a go to our website to learn more.
All right. Very good.
So it the pain point for people in that specific example is not that they have osteoporosis. The pain point is that they don't know what to do about it.
Hmm. Gotcha. Yeah.
And we can solve that.
Hmm. Slightly different in terms of the focus of that message, isn't it? Very cool. Love that. All right. So before we dive further into marketing, because I feel like we could do a whole episode on just marketing, the last point here is you've just opened, you've got that happening, you know your numbers, you're doing your marketing. What now? Or now what?
I what now is like now is the time to start working on the client experience and the client journey. I think sometimes people get those back to front. They focus instead of focusing on advertising and getting people in, they focus on like what are the resources that I want to create to share with this person when they come in, or um, what does my journey look, what does my client journey look like for this person when they start? But we haven't got the people in yet
Hmm.
to justify us spending time on that specific thing.
Gotcha.
Whereas once you've got people coming in, then you can start to refine it.
Interesting that you'd recommend starting on that side. So focusing on the service and the client experience, you would do second.
Correct.
Is that because it's easier to do that from a place where revenue is coming in?
It is. Uh, you also have the ability to survey the people that you are currently helping.
Hmm.
We have a lot more insights into the way that we advertise now by asking questions to our clients. What was life like before you came in to us? What were like, why didn't you come in earlier? What does life look like for you now? Like having the answers to those questions, you can only get once people are coming in.
Hmm.
You can try and guess, but it generally won't hit the mark too well.
Hmm. Interesting. That's definitely a change in process that I hadn't thought of. So I always thought that like you want to make sure that the product that you're marketing is actually a great product already so that those people then uh, refer on or give you word of mouth referrals or talk about your business because it was so great. But you would recommend starting the other way.
You don't know what a good service is yet. You
Mm,
haven't had
wow.
enough feedback from clients to make informed changes to what the journey is.
Interesting. So I guess there's a caveat there that if you have already come from a business or a previous role where you do know what a good journey is,
Mm.
then having that ready to go, you might as well.
You might as well, but that comes after you have enough clients in your books to justify spending your time focusing on that.
Interesting.
Because when you have just launched a business or in preparation to launch a business, the focus needs to be on getting people through the door, not improving the client journey.
Okay. Wow. So outside of uh, identifying that ideal client and then digitally marketing to them, how else would you help that process of trying to be profitable by day one?
It's very much a sticking along the lines of that niching and marketing to or building connections with other people in the community that also help that client.
Hmm.
So if we keep on the osteoporosis line there, a person with osteoporosis is likely to have a GP. They're likely to have an endocrinologist. They're likely to have a dietitian, maybe. Um, they might have a walking group. They might do a Pilates class. They might go to a seniors um, group fitness class. By identifying who the ideal client is, we can work out what their circle of treatment providers looks like, and then to be able to go to them with kind of like the same elevator pitch, right? As an EP, we help people with osteoporosis by XYZ. That will help the outcomes of the client if we work in more of a team
Hmm.
collaborative effort.
Nice. Okay. So proactively identifying those professionals in the area and then networking with them early.
But being specific,
Hmm.
like when we go and talk to GPs or specialists and things like this, it's not saying, "Hi, I'm Andrew, I'm an EP, I do everything." It's like if you have a patient whose T-score is less than minus 1.5, research says you should send them to me, and I will do weight training with them. Do that.
Oh, wow.
Like it is being specific, probably not in that tone, right? But it is
Mhm.
being directive. I
Yeah, okay.
think we tend to hold back on the impact that we can have on people because we think that is the nice thing to do.
Mm,
But what you're not being is clear when you do that. Whereas if you can tell people exactly what you want them to do in their mind, it makes referral easier.
nice. Love that. If you could, just a little bonus question before we finish on these tips before opening a business. If you could pick uh, your software, pick your digital workspace, pick your website domain, not domain, as in provider, whoever runs your website,
Hmm.
who would you pick? Starting from scratch right now.
I think Clinico is the best practice management software out there.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's just the easiest. Yes, there is Galaxy, which is for free, but the functionality that you will look for as your business grows doesn't exist there. Um, Clinico is definitely from an EP perspective the best, the easiest. Um, there are some close seconds for Splos if you're an NDIS clinic, um, Nucal if you run lots of groups. Um, but Clinico is the most solid
Hmm.
practice management software.
Would you be using Google Workspace, Microsoft Workspace?
Controversial.
Oh,
Uh,
you're already too deep in our one, so you can't change it. I
and that's probably the bit that governs my response to this. Like
Yeah,
we are
so
we
so
are
take that out. This is new Andrew starting a new business, new healthcare business from scratch. What would you pick?
The principle is that you want to have as many things tied into one platform as you
Yeah,
possibly can,
of
right?
course.
Um, I would still choose Google, um, Gmail, Google Drive, Google Sites, Google Docs, etc. Um, that is just a personal preference, though.
Hmm.
I do know a lot of people that prefer the Microsoft ecosystem, but either of those, like in isolation, don't mix and match bits and
Gotcha.
pieces.
Absolutely. Which uh, which provider would you build your website off?
It's a good question.
Okay, good.
Squarespace is easy.
Hmm.
Like you can make it look very professional with having zero experience. Um, Traditionally, it doesn't do as well from an SEO perspective
Interesting.
as a
As well as what?
WordPress website.
WordPress. Interesting. Okay.
WordPress has got more apps, it's got more functionality, it is more technical. Like a lot of if you have a professional do a website for you, they will often use a WordPress platform to do it.
Gotcha. Hmm.
Um, but it is more technical and it does
Mm-hmm.
take a lot of getting used to. So if you're after clean and simple and easy to use that doesn't have a lot of functionality, Squarespace.
Mm-hmm.
If you are happy to nerd out on the back end of websites and improve your local SEO through optimization, WordPress has got more ability to do that.
Okay. All right. And last question. What would be your one AI service of choice? AI software of choice?
I've just gone to Claude and it is my best
Oh,
friend.
why why is it different for you in your role to chat or I don't know, whatever the fuck other anyone else uses?
Uh,
Just
I
for you.
find the outputs a lot just cleaner. Um, I find like we're now using Claude for some elements of social media, content
Mm,
creation, editing. Uh, yeah, the outputs tend to be more comprehensive.
nice. Awesome.
Um, yeah, Claude.
Great. That's all I need to know. Andrew's recommendation there. Any other last recommendations on opening a business before we finish up our short, quick episode? He's thinking.
Most, not mo like a significant majority of people, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, that there is a transition into business ownership, right? Often you have a job, the aspiration is to build a business, and so you transition over a period of time from a stable income source uh, over to building your own thing, um, which is natural, right? Like I'm definitely not advocating against that. Um, the question that you need to ask, or that some business coach will ask you at some point in time, is the decision to go from stability to your own thing at the end of the day is often a financial decision.
Hmm.
When I'm earning X amount of dollars, then I can leave that and I can go over here full time and focus on that. I would I would have an answer to that question as early as possible
Okay.
because
Set that
people
up.
get
The
stuck. People get
mm,
stuck there.
mm.
They get stuck with the stability of earning an income somewhere. They don't fully want to commit to the new thing. Um, but often it is this not articulating exactly what it needs to look like in order for that transition to happen. And I think if you can work that out early, you're saving yourself that cognitive load in the future.
Nice. Awesome. One last point. You said a business coach will ask you. would you get a business coach from day dot?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I think you can find a mentor.
Hmm.
I think you will find people that are willing to have conversations, go
Hmm.
and have a coffee and have a conversation. I don't think it needs to be a very formal relationship at the
Okay.
start because
Mm.
oftentimes the reality is that the first period in business is just fucking getting people through the door.
Mm.
And there's only like we can't start thinking about building teams or building complexity into businesses until there is enough people in the diary to
Yeah.
justify.
Yeah.
And what I would like from talking with lots of EP business owners specifically, like there are some fucking really good, genuine, helpful people out there that if
Mm.
you reached out to them and said, "Hey, like, can I buy you a coffee and pick your brain on some stuff?" 9 times out of 10, they would say yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so a business coaching relationship doesn't need to be transactional in that sense, although it can be. There are a lot of people out there that want EPs to succeed in business. So my answer is yes,
Mm.
without the strings attached to it. Like I'm
Fuck
not
yeah.
trying to sell you shit here. Like it is really helpful to speak to people who have gone through what you are going through,
Mm.
more from the sense of preventing you from making the same mistakes that they did.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes, it is helpful.
Love that. Awesome. What a great note to finish on. How's your heaps normal?
It's quite bland. It is it's an IPA.
Which are
And to
not
be
known
fair-
for being bland.
To be fair, a non-alcoholic IPA. It's probably got bland. It should just say bland on the fucking thing. But
Oh no. Oh.
I am grateful to be drinking a non-alcoholic beer. So I will take that.
Well done. There you go. Hooray for Andrew. All right. We'll see you all in the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.